Welcome to Trading Lounge and the indices. I'm looking at Cap 1 here as a bank. All the other banks have got the same sort of pattern to the upside, but this is the easiest one to identify in terms of Elliott wave. So it just makes it a little bit simple because the wave 3 is so beautiful here. So the wave 4 is in play. I haven't looked on there on the intraday basis how it's going to play out, how complicated it's going to get, but you can get the general idea of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this, and then pulling back and then heading higher at that point. So that gives you a bit of an idea, you know, if you're looking at some of the indices and so on. Now I want to just jump over to the other side of the world for a moment, and this is a monthly chart for this compositive index here in China. So what you can see here traveling across this major trading level 3 here is a Elliott wave triangle pattern here. Now this is more so for Asia, but it's also for the rest of the world as well. Everything is connected, and we've got this nice wave A here, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and then the E wave here. So this is coming into its final stages here. There's a bit more to go below here, a good few months, but we can see the volume diminishing into this, and yeah, we can take a closer little look at this. But once it is completed, then we're going to see it push up at this point and take out this high here. So this is important for, you know, for all sorts of reasons, especially for, well, I'm in Australia, so it will be important. Obviously, they're going to be, you know, doing infrastructure and doing all sorts of things at this particular point in time, and but it's just not there yet. So we just drill in here a little bit. This is we're in the final wave E here, and we're looking at an A, a little A, B, C for the B wave, and down for the C wave here. So this little move down here on the daily chart here, yeah, so here we are at this point, don't need that. So yeah, I do need to do a little bit of work on this count, but I can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1, and ABC for 2 here. So that's all cool. I can see that that's 5 waves down. I would have to look at this as being, well, I could look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but then I'm starting to get overlaps here. But either way, we still have a 4 and a 5 to complete this. So there's still a good sort of 4 months, 3 to 6 months here to finish this off, probably. If I've made a mistake, which wouldn't be the first time, if we get support on top of the 3 here with a classic trading levels pattern there as support, well, then I'm wrong, and we'll end up taking that on board and would start to look at you know, the commodities of the world at that particular point in time. Okay, so the other point before we start is that I just want to now the Nasdaq is pretty clear. The S&P's journey to the upside is a little bit ambiguous and could be counted in different ways because it had the banking crisis in there and so on. So it's kind of, you know, whichever way you look at it, it's a little bit weird. But I know from experience is that it's not all the time, but most of the time we've got to kind of keep dragging it back into whatever's the leading market and indices and so on. Obviously the Nasdaq is leading higher because of Meta Platforms and Nvidia and Microsoft and Google. All the AI stuff is not sort of far behind. But my point being here is that from this wave 4 here, which is quite clear, to wave 5 here, this is the last sort of leg here, and as I pointed out before, is that this bar here would be the halfway mark. This is 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then we've got, you know, 4s and 5s in here. So the time that it takes from here to here is a good few months, right? We don't know how long wave 4 is going to be here or here. They could be a bit more time consuming. We don't know that just yet. But we should expect, if this is 2 months here, roughly speaking, then we should expect, well, 2 months over here, if not 3 months, depending on how long these guys take. So when you think about it, if we've got 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months basically for this to travel higher, then you know that the Nasdaq is really going to be traveling higher as well for that period of time. So if the Nasdaq is going to be traveling higher, then you know that the S&P is going to be traveling higher, and it's highly likely the DAX won't be far behind it, and some of the other indices around the world. The FTSE's in its own headspace at the moment, but it's being dragged along like a screaming child. So yeah, anyway, it just gives us that sort of understanding that, you know, because when I'm analysing the Nasdaq and the S&P, I've got to it doesn't have to be perfect to this, but once this top comes in here of the leading stock, all the other ones, depending on how weak they are, they'll just roll over, you know, pretty close behind them as well. And some of them may have truncated fifth waves to the top, and all the rest of it, they all get a little bit sort of messy. But it does give us that idea. So if I've got like 2.5 months here, let's say, I was thinking about the equinox in March, you know, but because it is an accounting point, not so much that, you know, putting on a white costume and running around as a Moonie or anything, which, you know, could be fun as well, I guess. But yeah, so that's that really. So I got to kind of keep pushing the S&P and the Nasdaq into this higher ground within that time frame. Now, I also know that it's going to get messy in wave 4 and 4 here as well. Not so much in this particular stock because it's quite powerful, and same with Meta Platforms, they've got exactly the same count as well. But a lot of the others, you know, if these slow down, then the others are going to slow down and get overlapping wave structures and get even messier still. And normally I'd sort of look towards Apple in understanding the S&P and all the rest of it. However, Apple's a bit rotten at the core at the moment and is having its own problems. So with this here, this is the S&P. Now, I will probably change this, but I also know too that at the 5,000 level here, number 5, we'll end up getting a pattern like this. We'll have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then some type of correction across here and yada yada yada. But this is kind of the normal process that we need to be in. So I'm thinking to myself, we've got 2.5 months really to get to this point here. That's what I'm kind of thinking. So that's this point here, this wave 1 top here, because that will be the wave 1 top in Nvidia here, and this will come down quite quickly as an ABC pattern down here, and there's great support down here. It may come higher, it may come lower. We'll see how it sort of plays out, and there'll be some event that fits that. It could be political, it could be geographical, it could be all sorts of things. So look at the bond, the yields that could sort of play a part in this too, actually. But anyway, I can drag that into it later. So I've got to kind of think, I've got to get from, see, when you get close to large numbers like this, the market just loves them. Well, people love, we are the market, and we're looking at that number more and more so, you know. So it acts like a magnet, and we'll get sort of pulled up to there, and it'll be like a psychological finishing line, and everybody will celebrate and sell and carry on, and it will drop. You know, it's a very normal sort of thing to do. In the meantime, we're at number 8 here. I always call 8 a profit-taking number, and it has held it quite nicely. We know double tops are never the end of the trend, so we'll go higher here. So I have, you know, for the folks that have been sort of tracking this a little bit, I have sort of not changed it so much, but I put a bit more work back into this, and I'm quite happy now to actually, if I can just expand this open here, to have wave 4 here with 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it just counts as nice as 5 waves up here. And this one here, I'm putting back over as an A wave, a B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, a nice third wave here, fourth wave here, fifth wave here. This fifth wave could go to here as well, but an ABC pattern here for wave 4 and then down for wave 5. So an A and a B and a C here. That's how I'm dressing that up, and I'll stick to that for the time being. So then I'm looking at this being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and yeah. So also with this as well, I'm looking at this here as an A wave, an A, B, C for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and all the way down for the 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave here, and then the fifth wave here. Now, it doesn't count that nicely down here as 5 waves. It's kind of a little bit sort of weirdish, but it's kind of wave 1 and wave 5 have got the same sort of length. Yes, there is overlap here, so yeah, I get that. But yeah, this is sort of how I see it. So what we could do here is, yes, this is a 50-60%. It could come down here further. That's one thing. So you can see here currently that this little move up here, we could view that as wave 1, and this little move here is coming in quite nicely here. It could just be an ABC pattern here, and then drop from that point and have 3, 4, 5 coming down. It could be something, it could do that, right? So we're aware of that. The other little thing here is that we could view this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then a little third wave coming up here, a fourth and a fifth. So if you see this here, if you can see it, I mean, it's always good to wait for 5 waves up here, and then you can look for the pullback here. So the pullback would be something like this here, and then going up again here. So the long trade in this case for the shorter term swing traders would be on top of the B wave there. So will we get that? Will we get that B wave coming in here? I don't know, but first of all, let's just see if we get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then this ABC pattern here. So what I'm sort of saying here is that this is all subgroup 2 here, 65, 4765, 72, and 80 here. So would be in group 2. So if you can see a tested support on 772, with a little classic trading levels pattern here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, just the one that we were looking at just a moment ago, this one here, on this 772 here, then this is the entry over here for that. Okay, we may get it. If we get it, that's what to do. If we don't get it, we're going to be coming down here further, and then we'll need to address that situation. We'll have to rinse and repeat and look for the next 5 waves up here. Okay, so that's kind of it in a bit of a nutshell, in the sort of bigger picture and the smaller picture for this market and for the Nasdaq. Yeah, I could also look at this as wave 1 up here too, actually, and I just might label that there so I can come back to that. So this one here doesn't really, it was a bit like the S&P, and I'm a bit reluctant to you know, I feel like I need to put it over here, and maybe I've got to look at this as some sort of WXY over here. Otherwise 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2. So what I'm sort of thinking here with this is putting wave 1 here and wave 2 here. Now, this particular move, well, this move here is corrective, so that's why I've got wave 1 there, but it just doesn't count very nicely like that. I'd have to do something weird and bend the envelope a little bit as 1 and 2 in here and 3, 4, 5 in here. It's doable, but based on this one here, normally would go long above the top there, but if we're going to go along above the top there, what we normally do is wait for the next 5 waves to come up, then look for an ABC pattern here, and then move in. So if you don't get that, that's okay, but I'm not going to call the trade in long here at 17,000 because I know it's going to struggle here for this. So yeah, and it might seem a little bit weird, but if I bring Nvidia back here, this little wave 3 up here, this is already 5 waves up to this point here. So if I just go here onto the 1000 ticks, you'll be able to sort of get a bit of an idea of that. We've got a little push up here to this wave 3, then an ABC pattern here. So the Nasdaq could follow out with this type of thing before seeing another little move up. So yeah, but yeah, I think, you know, the other point here too is the trading levels thing. So the trading levels thing here is we're in group 2 here. So the 65 number here, in this case 16,650 in here. But you can see that the market's really sitting in here, and it's already tested it here. So yeah, normally it'd just be pulled up to this number here now. So yeah, I'm not sure the best way to look at this, but we can expect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. And the 17,200 will play a strong part in there. That's also this is subgroup 2, and this 65 here, this 16,500 is minor group 2. So we're in a larger fractal of group 2 here at this one. So the 72 number is this 17,200 here, and then of course we've got the 18 up here. So it's quite a big area here, especially when you're drilling in intraday here. But anyway, that's what I'm sort of looking at. Don't like to go along in front of big numbers here for this, so I won't call the trade in there, but I'll leave that up to you at this point. And then we come over to the Russell here. Yeah, look, I don't really have all the answers here. If we look at this as wave A here, then a small A, B, C pattern here for the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We could have a low in here as well. I could probably look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third and fourth, and still, because we always get a bounce off a large number, and 190's got a 0 on the end, it's large enough. So we could actually get something like this here. If I was personally going to go long here, if I had to go long, then I would look for group 1 here at the top of group 1, which would be 193 with a classic trading levels pattern to go long at that point. That's what I would do. I don't like buying on the low here, and you know, this is all a little bit rickety here in terms of an Elliott wave count, so it's probably not the best way forward, but yeah, well, I'm just not going to call the trade in here, but that could be the low, but I wouldn't count on it just yet. So we come over to the DAX, and just with the DAX here, we've had this run up here, so you basically know where we are with all of that. And in this case, we've been looking for a wave 4. I thought we could have had the wave 4 here or back over here. In this case here, we had a nice ABC pattern down here for this. And we could have gone up from here. We could still go up from here. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, an A and a B and a C, and not take the low out here. So that could be possible. But yeah, so I've been looking at it in different ways, and it's kind of big for a wave 2 here. It's just really wait for the S&P, and the S&P is ready to go. So it just could go straight up there, you know. But in the meantime, I was looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5 here. It looks a little bit limited at this point. There is 5 waves here, so we could end up coming down here a bit for that. But if the S&P is going to push up, then we'll need to call that in. And I don't know. So I was looking. This it's a little bit hard to track. So I was looking at the STX here, the stock 50 here. Stock 50, yeah, 40, 50, whatever. It's a little bit cleaner here. And in this case, you could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and coming down for 5 here. But we've got overlap here, so I don't need to do that. But this little sort of area in here, it has taken the low out here where the DAX is sort of struggling on that. It hasn't taken this low out here like it has on this stock 50 here. So that's kind of good in its way. So then I mean, there's different ways to look at this as well, but I'm not really seeing an impulse wave here. You know, I could look at all of this here as an A wave to here, and then an A, B, C, D, and E over here for this, and then having a low come in place. But I'm not getting 5 waves off here. So yeah, I'm just not seeing the love of an impulse wave here just yet. And then when you look at this here, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down for 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, bit big, but you know, and then down for 5 here. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what you've got to be mindful of here. Some sort of little ABC pattern having 3, 4, 5 here to finish off. If any of these are going to do it, this is the weaker one because it's taken out this particular low here. So this is one that you'll need to keep an eye on. Yeah. So I don't think we're we're not where we need to be to go long here just yet for any of these. So this one and this one, this is not impulsive here, is it? I mean, it could be in some weird way, but I have to go with the probability of things, and it is, it's not really giving it to me. So this low is likely to be taken out. So we just have to this can either have a little ABC pattern here and then come down further as 3, 4, 5. It could do that, or it could move up to wave 4, back up to these tops here, or 38.2% or whatever, and then come down at that point. So I don't know which is the right way for this, but it just doesn't look like it's ready to be long in just yet. And sure, you might be able to count this down differently here and have the whole situation in the, all wrapped up in there. And what I mean by that is putting like wave 1 here and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, and then having some sort of extension in the 5th wave here, and putting this over here, and then this becomes wave 4 here, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're finished here. It doesn't matter which way it plays out, because at the end of the day, we still need to have some type of little impulse wave that we can get our teeth into to manage our risk at that point on the B wave, and then move up. So we're just not there. I mean, as simple as that, and shite, I mean, I can make mistakes and this could just go straight up, but looking at and following the S&P, it should do that, but I'm just not getting what I need to get here. If it does push up quite high here, we'll take another look at it, and then, we'll just be late to the party, but, sometimes that's a good thing, isn't it, So I'm just going to push this back over here and here the way that I had it, because otherwise I'll just forget. And I did put a bit of effort into sort of trying to get my head around that a bit, but yeah. So look, basically this is butt ugly, and I'm not seeing the love in it yet, and we just need to chill. But it's kind of in its later stages, and it could just be pulled up by some larger market, so we'll see. So then we've got the FTSE here. Now I've got this as a very bearish pattern here, so don't panic, we've got a bullish pattern as well, but just wanted to look at it. Obviously the stochastics is coming down. I've just got them set on the normal, haven't got them going very fast, but so it's even just on its normal settings, it's kind of getting ready down here. Of course they can flatline, but the fact that it's the indicator has come all the way down here, and the price compared to the trend here, the price is still quite high here, then this becomes quite valid here for a turning point, at this at the 50-60% retracement level here, where it's got a bit of support there. So look, this is just one way to count it, as an A wave here, an ABC here, and then down for the C wave here. And the FTSE can do its own thing. It's got its own issues. Yeah, I just could never understand why they left the rest of the party at the EU there. But I mean, I understand it's those rich folks with their tax haven. That's pretty much it. So anyway, the positive side here is on the 2-day here. This is the other side to the coin here. Looking at this as 5 waves up. I did have this as a wave 4, but I'll show you how I've counted as wave 1 in a minute. But yeah, so is this good enough for wave 1 and ABC here? It's a bit big for wave 2 compared to wave 1, so that's a little bit haunting. Could I have this as a triangle pattern finishing here and still have wave 1 here? Yeah, that's possible. There's a few things that I could, I could quite easily put this wave E over here for this. And then the D would just go to here, and that would look like K at that point. In fact, it would look quite good. But anyway, we need to see what comes out of the gates here. So let's just go into here and try to understand this a little bit further, and a bit more here. So don't worry about this too much, but I've looked at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Now it's rough as guts, and it's probably, there's a lot that you could say to me there, and I hear you loud and clear. I understand that, but I have got 5 waves here, 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 also overlapping here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave, the fourth wave 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then all the way up to the 5 over here. That would leave me here with the A wave here, and then the A, B, and C wave here for the B wave. And then this gets a little bit like the DAX. It's pretty messy, and I probably don't have the right count here either, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and then all of the third wave here, the fourth wave here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bit further to come down. So yeah, I don't see an impulse wave to the upside here just yet, so there's nothing to do. We don't want to short it into 500, and we don't want to short it into the 50-60% and all that sort of stuff. That's, you know, that's just amateurs, and we try to be professional. So we just need to have the virtue of patience to find a solution here in due course. And as the, you know, if the DAX pushes up, well, then this will push up with it as well. So that's the UK, and then we come over to the Aussie here. And just while we're here, I'll just go to the cash market here for a moment. This is just a little bit cleaner. You know, this is the XJO. It's on the because it's a CFD product, the other one I'm looking at, but because you can't trade the XJO. So it's a 1 hour chart. So what you can see here, pointed out before, we looked at this here as a nice third wave, and you can see here that this is all 5 waves here, and then we've got a correction rally here, and then we've got this other leg here. So really is an A and a B and a C. We're in the later stages of it here. We can drop into, let's have a look at a 2-minute chart here. So this will be the 5 waves coming down here, right? So that's all okay. And then we've got this here. It's a pretty straight line here, really, isn't it? So I don't know if we need to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 1 here, and then back for 2 here, and or an A and a B and a C wave over here for this. And this looks like some sort of third wave here. So I just don't think it's finished. I think we've got some sort of 4th and 5th here to finish this off on the cash market. That's what I'm thinking. And this could be interpreted, you know, I could look at that as down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2. But I think it belongs to each other there. I could sort of put all of this together, but yeah, this could be 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just not quite there yet. Do you know what I mean? We're close, but we're not there. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd point that out. And then we're over here. So the same thing here as it's been a while working through all of this, isn't it? But it's an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave. So an A and a B, and then down for the C wave. The C wave should be in 5 waves. And we'll be looking for a wave 4 down here, so I'll just put that in here. So we can see from B down to C here, we can see that we've got 1, 2, we've got the nice third wave down here, haven't we? I mean, that's pretty obvious. And then we've got a 4th wave pulling back. So we can go long above here. That's one thing. We should be able to do better than that. And so then we've got to find 5 waves down here. It looks like we've got 1 and 2 here, and yeah, I could probably put 3, 4, 5 and finish here. So we could have a low in place here, but yeah, the other point here too is that, yeah, because I could count that as 5 waves, I could look at this here as 1 and 2 coming back here. As such, so 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and come down to here and have this down here for this. That's doable, right? So that's one thing. I'll just copy this here and put this back over here. See, it hasn't really made a low below here yet. We just had a look at the cash market. So yeah, it's probably down here, but it's possible to have that there. But even so, let's just assume for a moment that this prediction doesn't work and the market just goes up from here. That's why we need to go long here. And if it does come down here in 5 waves, then we'll look for support on the 74 over here with some sort of classic first high trading levels pattern, yada, yada, yada. And then we'll go long from this point. If, however, I haven't read the tea leaves right, and then we get like 1, 2 here and 3, 4, 5, or that would be cool too, you know, because then we'll be looking somewhere up at the old high here, and we'll look for this to go over here anyway, do you know? We'll look to go along on the B wave over here if we get 5 waves here, but we don't have 5 waves up here just yet. I suppose I could look at that as 5 waves if I made a mistake. Yeah, that works. Anyway, we need 5 waves here now, you know, in line with everything else, and the cash market looks like it needs to have another drop. So where are we Wednesday? So Wednesday is normally like a bit of a V-shaped day. Thursday could be the bearish day to finish that off, and then Friday. So we might not get a trade on this until Friday, late Thursday afternoon, Friday, the normal sort of thing. We'll see how all that plays out. Alrighty. I just want to have a look at A and Z for a moment, or one of the others. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So yeah, okay, it's all right. Just checking we're not quite at this top where I need to be yet either. Doesn't matter. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.